Hi everybody, this is Ms. Fennell, and I'm making a video here to show you how to use dichotomous keys. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you don't get a little instruction on how to use them, I think it might be really difficult to figure it out. Once you do figure it out though, usually kids think these are kind of fun. They're like puzzles, and the hardest part can be just making the choices you have to make to do identifications. So dichotomous keys, the word dichotomous literally means two, are these identification keys that you can use to find out the names of living things. So this is kind of useful. You can do these in real life. If you have an insect maybe one day that you don't know what it is, if you Google insect dichotomous keys, you can have these that pop up and they can be used to identify the names of living things. We are going to be doing leaf collections this week and next week, and so we're going to be going out and collecting leaves if you're an in-person student. If you're a distance learning student, I'm going to give you a few of ours that we collected for you to identify, plus you're going to do your own. And then you're going to have to work through a dichotomous key to try to identify what kind of tree the leaves came from. So you will need to know how to do these, and we'll be using them for our leaf collections this week, and we'll have several practice ones to do. All right. So I'm just going to run through with you what we did in our Google meetings and what we're doing in our in-person classes to try to learn how to use these. All right. So I have a little funny story about these. Let's see if this works. Does this work? I'm still here. All right. I'm moving myself around here. The way I always start this is by telling the story. By the way, this slideshow, you already have it. You're in the slideshow. It's in your notes folder of your materials tab, is the notes to this slideshow if you need it. But anyway, my older high school daughter is 17 years old now, but I still remember this day. It was kind of a funny thing. We had just been to the zoo and she was like 2 years old. So this was 15 years ago. She looks out our window. We live in Oak Grove, and she saw this creature walking outside in our backyard. It was actually chewing down our sunflower plants. We had sunflower plants growing, and this thing was chewing the plants and knocking them over one by one. It's kind of funny. And my daughter, who was 2 years old 15 years ago, says, Mom, there's a monkey in the backyard. And I'm like, a monkey? What are you talking about? And I thought she was just pretending and whatever. But I look on the backyard and I see this thing walking around our backyard. So a lot of you might already know. I already knew what this was when I saw it. But if you don't know what this is, you can actually go online, and there's a key to North American. This one's a key to North American mammals. But you can also, I wonder if my mouse, will this highlight? Oh, no. Okay. I was hoping. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse or not. Shoot. Anyway, this thing is a dichotomous key that will help you figure out what this animal is. So the animal that she saw walking in our backyard was this one. And actually found a key. This is a guide to common mammals of the United States. So they make these. Some of these, there's like big books that have, the whole book is a dichotomous key. So this is a really simple one. We're going to start you off with some simple ones first, and then we're going to ask you to use a more complicated one when we get to leaf identification. So this is the creature. I hope you can see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? What happens if I click? Oh, here. Okay. Maybe I have a focus mouse. So this is the creature that we're trying to identify. All right. So this is the most important rule of dichotomous keys. You are going to be working through a couple example keys next. You're going to do a lizard dichotomous key for practice, and you're going to do a pizza dichotomous key for practice to learn how to use these. No matter whatever leaf you're working through, whatever pizza you're working through, whatever lizard you're working through, whatever we're doing, if you're working on number 7 or 6 or 3 or 2 or whatever, you always, always, always in a dichotomous key start with step 1. That is the most important thing. You always, always, always start with step 1. All right. And from there, you're going to read the 2 possible choices, and then you're going to do what the choices tell you to do. So one other thing people don't like is that many times in this, you're not going to go through this in order. It might tell you to go to step 2. It might tell you to skip all the way down to 7 or 8 and have you skip a bunch of steps. So the only thing for sure is you're going to start with step 1. You're going to start with step 1 always. You're going to work through those 2 choices and do what it tells you to do. So 1A says this mammal flies, its hand forms a wing. If that is true, then you have a little brown bat. Now, I hope you also have to use your common sense a little bit when you're making these choices. I hope you know that this thing is not a bat. All right. 1B says this mammal does not fly. Its hand does not form a wing. Then we go to step 2. That's the choice we're going to choose here. So then we do what it tells us to do. We go to step 2. 2A says this mammal has no hair on its tail, or 2B says this mammal has hair on its tail. Well, if I look up at the tail, it has hair, so we are going to go to step 4. So we're going to skip step 3 altogether. That's fine. And we're going to go down to step 4. All right. This mammal has a black mask across its face. If that's the correct choice, it's a raccoon. And again, I would hope you know that this is not a raccoon, so that can't be right. Or this mammal does not have a black mask across its face. Go to step 6. I'm going to think that that's the right choice, so I'm going to skip down to step 6. Now, step 6 in this one is a difficult one. When I read these two choices, I'm not exactly sure which one is right for this one. Step 6 says this mammal is brown and has a white underbelly. Well, I can't see the belly from this picture or from this picture. I don't know what the belly looked like. But if I follow that step, I go to step 7, and it would either have to be a weasel or a mouse. And I know that this thing is not a weasel or a mouse. So I'm thinking here, step B, the mammal is not brown and does not have a white underbelly. That would say go to step 8. So the hardest part of working through these, I think, is when you can't decide which choice is right. You can't decide which choice is right. You can kind of work your way through both of them and then do the one that you think makes most sense. I think 6B makes most sense. So I'm going to choose that one, and I'm going to go to step 8. Step 8 says this mammal is black and has a narrow white stripe on its forehead, or this mammal is not black and does not have white stripes. I'm going to go to step 9. Then I got to wait here for my little thing at the bottom to disappear so I can read step 9. Step 9A says this mammal has long ears and a short cottony tail, which it does not. It's not an eastern cottontail rabbit. 9B would actually be the correct choice. This mammal has short ears and a medium-length tail. This is a woodchuck. So we have, in fact, identified here a woodchuck. If you want to practice with this one, you can try to work through the key again for this animal. This animal, you'd again start with number 1. It doesn't form a wing, so we would go to step 2. It has hair on its tail, so we'd go to step 4. It does not have a black mask across its face, so we'd go to step 6. This one is brown and does have a white underbelly, so we'd go to 7. This mammal has a long furry tail that's black on the tip. It does. This is a long-tailed weasel. Okay, so again, you just work through the steps, choose which one is right, do what it tells you to do, and eventually you'll find out the name of whatever it is you're trying to identify. All right. So that was our first kind of example one. The assignment for today is to try this lizard dichotomous key. Now, here's the thing that I've given you. In the slideshow, we have the answers. All right, it's kind of like math books that have the answers to the odd ones at the end. What I'd like you to do is try to work through each one of these cartoon lizards has been given a fake state name. What I'd like you to do is to try to work through that and figure out which one it is, and then write down your answers on a sheet of paper. Okay, you can write down your answers on a sheet of paper and then see if you got them right. The last step for today is we have this pizza dichotomous key. If I move myself here a little bit, I'll put myself right in the middle. You have pizza number 1. You're going to work through the choices for this one, and it's going to tell you who that pizza belongs to. All right. And then you're going to figure out who the person is who gets each one of these pizzas. From there, what I'd like you to do is go into Schoology and actually go to your materials tab, and there is a pizza dichotomous key thing there where you can actually use the multiple choice thing and click in your answers. And that simply tells me that you knew how to do this. So that is the last step for today, is to go to Schoology and click in your answers in the materials tab for your pizza dichotomous key. All right. So let's go through this lizard one. Let's do a couple lizard examples. If you feel like you got the hang of this, you can go forth and do your lizard key for practice and do your pizza key for practice. If you would like more examples, I'm going to go through the whole lizard dichotomous key. If you have this open, hopefully you can read. I know it's kind of hard to read down here, but hopefully you're able to see that and read that. So lizard number 1, we're doing lizard number 1, but regardless, we always start with step number 1. The lizard has a long tail or the lizard has a short tail. So I have to decide what kind of tail this lizard has. If I compare it to some of these other ones, it has a longer tail than this one. This one has a short tail. It has a longer, this one has a long, 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 and this one has short. So I'm going to go with this lizard has a long tail. That tells me to go to step 2. 2A, the lizard has a spotted tail, or 2B, the lizard has no spots on the tail. My lizard here has spots on the tail, so I'm going to go to step 4. Again, we skip steps, that's okay. Step 4A, the lizard has a frill around its neck, or the lizard has no frill around the neck. If I look at the neck here, I see these little frills, so it has a frill, so it's an Arizona lizard. Okay, so then I can click through my answer key and like, oh, Arizona lizard, I did that one right. And you can know that you worked the key correctly. The important part here is knowing how to work through the key, not the answers. The answers aren't going to count for anything here, but you need to learn how to work these keys. So it's important that you practice. All right, let's do lizard number 2. Lizard number 2, again, even though we're identifying lizard number 2, we begin with step 1. You always, always, always start with step 1. 1A, the lizard has a long tail, or 1B, the lizard has a short tail. Well, this one, if I compare again, has a short tail compared to these other ones. So I would choose step 3 in this case. Step 3A, the lizard has a striped back, or 3B, the lizard has no striped back. It definitely has a stripe here. So we choose step 6. So I go all the way down to step 6. I'm going to need to wait for my, my little bar to disappear here. My apologies. This takes a second. Step 6 says the lizard has a frill around its neck, or the lizard has no frill. If I go back up and look at lizard 2, it has no frill. Therefore, it is a Texas lizard. And if I click to my answer key, I see I got that one right. All right. So again, you just work through these steps and see if you can figure out how to use it. I'm going to do one more example, and hopefully that'll be enough so you can kind of see how to do these. If I'm identifying lizard number 3, again, I begin with step 1. 1A, the lizard has a long tail, or 1B, the lizard has a short tail. This one has a short tail. So I go to step 3. The lizard has a striped back, or the lizard has no striped back. Again, there's no stripe on this one. So then I skip over to 7. 7, the lizard has a spotted tail, or 7B, the lizard has no spots on the tail. My lizard I'm identifying here has spots. So I go to 10. Number 10, the lizard has a long tongue, or the lizard has a short tongue. Again, I got to do some comparisons here. Look at the tongue on this one, and then look at the tongue, say, on this one. So this clearly has a long tongue. This has a short tongue. So that means this is a California lizard. All right. And there's the right answer there. I'm going to do one pizza on the pizza dichotomous key so you can see how to work through this one. And then that'll be it. If you have future questions, you'll just need to email me. All right. So identifying pizza number 1, we start again with 1A and 1B. 1 or less toppings, or 2 or more toppings. It has 2 toppings. It has the basil here and the tomatoes. So we go to step 3. 3A, no meat toppings, or 3B, it has meat toppings. This one has no meat. So we go to 4. 4A is no tomatoes. 4B is with tomatoes. This one is with tomatoes, so this one would belong to Maryland. All right, and that is in fact the right answer there. I think the hardest question on these pizzas might be what the toppings are. This one is pepperoni and sausage. This one is just sausage. This one is, I believe those are olives and peppers and mushrooms. This one has eggs, sausage, and bacon. I've never heard of putting fried eggs on pizza. Wow. This one has, I'm not sure what these are. Sausage, peppers, and mushrooms. This one has Canadian bacon and pineapple. That's just wrong. Ooh, I don't know. How many of you like that Canadian bacon and pineapple? So go through this one. And then once again, I would write down your answers that you get for this. Then go to your materials tab. There is a pizza practice dichotomous key questions. Click in your answers. They're multiple choice questions. It will temporarily give you a score. I am just using that to see how many people completed it and how people did on it. After everybody finishes it, I'm going to go in and delete that score because it's just practice, and I don't want that to affect your final grade in my class. If it doesn't go well, then I'll be contacting you. We'll be working more on this, and we'll be trying to figure out how to do these dichotomous keys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, email me. I'm happy to help you. Message me in Schoology. We can do Google meetings, and I can try to help you and explain how to do these.